everyone. Welcome in. This is going to be the Build a City hood decorating layout workshop. I'm charmful and I like to do neighborhood city skyline type builds, especially for stories. So I'm just going to impart my knowledge today of how to lay it out or ideas on how to lay it out so it looks more realistic, and maybe not so much like the default downtown, which, as Grin expressed, is not satisfying to him. So first of all, when you create, and you can do this in your main hood, you can do this as a downtown. I'm choosing to do this today as a shopping district just because I already have 3 downtowns and now I have 2 subhoods for shopping districts, so I'll make a third and even it out here. Um, so first of all, you need to select a terrain, and it just depends what you want to do. Like some have lakes, some have mountains. So it's just what kind of vision you want for this kind of downtown city you want to build. There are ones that come with the game, and there's custom terrains you can download. If you put them into your folder, they'll show up here. So like that one's custom. You can't see it; it doesn't have a picture. But the ones that came with the game, they have like these nice pictures. Or you can make your own in SimCity 4, I believe. I personally don't know how to do that. That would be a good workshop. But I guess right now I'll do like a tweaky downtown. And you can give your neighborhood a name, obviously. I'm gonna do workshop city. And you can choose a terrain type. So lush is gonna give you the forest, desert's gonna give you like the orangey just desert look. Concrete is like what you see in the background here. It's gonna be all gray. And I've never done dirt, but I'm gonna assume it's just brown. But if we're like a downtown, I say concrete is probably the best, like this one. Or you could do lush, and then there's other neighborhood deco things you can add to it to make it kind of look more gritty. But for ease, I'm gonna pick concrete and create it here. I guess if anybody is struggling with doing downtown like hood decorating, can you like put in the chat like what questions you have exactly about like what you're struggling with, and I can like pinpoint or have answers to like specifically address that, because that would be helpful. So I'm in Rusclovia right now. I'm gonna go to the new one, Workshop City. We're gonna load that.
If you have a mic, feel free to ask questions directly as well, so she doesn't
Yeah,
have to bounce back and forth.
that works too. So this is Urban Tweaky. Very small. There's not a lot going on here. So I guess first of all, when you do this, I like to think of a front picture and a back picture-esque for the city. So I usually like this, I would say, is like the front of the city, and this is the back. So I'm not going to be very concerned about the back, how the back looks compared to the front. Like this is where like the pictures are going to be for me. And so the way I do this is your playable lots and your shorter hood deco buildings will probably be at the front, and the taller buildings will be at the back. And I on the Rusclovia one I did it pure hood deco, and you can do this a different like way. You can put your playable lots down first and then hood like arrange hood deco around them, or you could do hood deco first and then delete out places where you want to put playable lots. So like I did with Rusclovia, that's all deco. So I'm gonna do that method where I'm just gonna take out hood deco and start placing it, and then later if I want like playable lots, I can put those in.
Zeno says, I sometimes find it hard to blend buildings of different heights to make them not look weird.
Okay, so blending heights. Okay, so let's see. I'm just pulling out stuff here. So these are roughly the same height. So I would say put similar height buildings together and then put bigger ones like start building it back. So, and I like to build like on the edges of like the roads until, I want to take one out and like put a playable lot in. But you see like already that one's a little bit higher in the back, and I'm not, this is like that's a huge one. So I'm not going to put that in the front here because, it'll obscure buildings in the back of it. So I'm going to put this in the back. So that's like one of the taller buildings. So that's another one that's like the same size as this. Let me go where's my tall buildings? There's some tall buildings. So like that looks kind of awkward, like what Xana said of blooding like taller buildings with smaller buildings. So I would put this further back, like over here. So like there's districts. Um like this one is a little bit better because it just gradually goes up. So I'm gonna put that there. You see how like it gradually goes from shorter to taller, and then it gets bigger in the back. There's things you can do, like you can put maybe a taller building, like if you do a square and you have like a centerpiece or something, that would be a good way to implement a taller building within other buildings. So like this one's shorter. That one's not very drastic. Like you could do a bunch of smaller buildings that, yeah, it, again, is building up. It's like short, medium, tall. And then one thing, and I saw this in Vened's comic earlier today. She had a playable lot. Let me go find a playable. She had a playable lot just nestled in between hood deco buildings, which that like looks really like good from like the lot view when you play playable lots in a city, so that the hood deco is right next to it, so it doesn't have any gaps. I'm trying to find a good house. Like that's a beach thing. That's probably not very good. Actually, this is great. This is tweaky. I know beach. This is a gritty city stuff, and this is a boardwalk, but we can make it work. I have I have some boardwalk pieces here, and I'm wondering if I could blend it in here with some hood deco. So it wouldn't let me do it next to each other. So this is where, like, maybe not a building, but some kind of element, like a rock or some trees, like you can fill in the gaps here. So it doesn't look like such a, I don't know, it doesn't look plain. You know what I mean? So Maxis actually has a bunch of really nice like tree options. They have like stuff from Three Lakes, stuff from Tweaky, the Vacation Hoods, and like just a whole bunch of trees. And you can just kind of layer them together, bushel them. I tend to do that a lot if I'm trying to do trees. There's also these effects. Where is So this is what I did on Risclavia. Like I was trying to make the mountains like a little bit not so ashy looking. You just splattered around basically. It's like being Picasso with terrain elements. So then when you go to another, like that's how that looks without all the little boxes obstructing it.
Alex is asking, did you build those lots or download them?
Oh, I built those. Yeah, the only reason the only reason I made this sub hood Cashmere Point was because I wanted boardwalks, and so I built boardwalks for it. So yeah, there's like desert, you can do desert terrain, you can do, it's like a different color of cement, like if you want to patch out like different areas, districts maybe, you can layer those on. I would just be careful because you might lay a building over this and then want to remove the cement later and then you have to like remove all your buildings. So be sure that's what you want or else you're going to have to do a lot of undoing. What else do we have? Here's some like bright green. I don't know how that looks. That might look kind of awkward. Yeah, that's a little too bright green. So I'm gonna undo that. You could probably download stuff too. I don't know. I've never actually downloaded any other like terrain effects like that, but I'm sure they exist. The other thing you can do are skyboxes and horizons. I put resource links in there for that. I think I have iCads and Great Cheesecake of Personas. But what you do with these is the boxes, they have these little red arrows on them. And to get those in place, you put the red arrow pointing at the edge. And that should, yeah, oop, sorry, I'm on the other side of the mountain. Come here. Like that. So it looks, yeah, it gives a nice sky, like a horizon off in the distance. Like those are some mountains. And skyboxes, which are found when you download them in the effects. I have the Great Sky of Totalitarian. I don't know how to say it. It's by Lodeus. And so that one, you can put them in hood or lot view. I like the hood view. So if I want something kind of sunny, like this one looks kind of sunny. That's another thing you can do, just like the horizons, where you point it into the corner. Now let's see how that looks. You can already see, so I have the water mod, so it reflects nicely. It's by Voel. So now they have like this nice sky. But back to hood building. So we've taken care of like the nature, the distance of nature. So Ophia says beach lots are tough to place, and once you place them, if you move the land they were on before it gets distorted, wait, what? Can you expand on that, Fia?
Oh, sorry. I was talking to Alex
Oh,
about building beach lots, and when you put a beach lot down, first of all, it's hard to find the right spot where the game lets you do it,
oh,
and when you
okay.
move them, it distorts the neighborhood terrain.
Oh, okay. I see. Oh,
Like
yeah,
it
I
leaves
see what you
a
mean.
big dent where it was. It drives me crazy because it's like you have to find the right spot, and if you don't like where you put it,
Oh,
it
yeah.
messes it.
Yeah, I can see that. All right, I'm going back to my buildings. So buildings, it just depends what you download. Some are categorized as MISC, and I think William Howard has a recategorizer. I don't know if it works on Hood Deco. I think Fia, you've used it before. I don't know if it does the Hood Deco, but you may be able to recategorize some of this stuff so it all shows up um, in a better place for you to find it between the two. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna like
I don't know
add.
that you can use that for hood deco. I think it's only for build and buy mode.
Oh, really? Okay, that's a shame
So
because that would
you'd
be
have to
really
do it
nice.
manually in some DE.
The other thing you can do if you don't want to use all hood deco, you can just download lot buildings. They look a little bit fuzzier in neighborhood view, but honestly, it's Sims 2 graphics, and I think Lazy Duchess had a lot imposter like fix with RPC that might help with this. You can just take lots and put them in just as like nobody needs to live in them. They can just be like kind of used for deco. even though Sims can technically visit them. I have Zarathustra's warehouse. I really like putting down, especially in like business districts. If I can find it. I have too many lots downloaded. There it is. So like I would just put this as its own thing. And I think like it adds to the flair of the hood. Like if that was a warehousing district. I also have like, or if you like download a bunch of tall apartment buildings that you can just use as placeholders. That's like another idea of how to fill in a city. You go back to this. So these are some bigger buildings from City Skylines, but they're not as tall. So like this like looks like it could make sense, even though that's like way shorter. It's just like kind of a big building next to like it's a long building next to a tall building, and like that could blend together. Um, and you can actually like pull that in. You don't have to, you know, have it all showing. I've done that before where I've kind of layered my hood deco buildings to create new deco buildings, if that makes sense. And like if you can't find a building to fit, you can always just put other elements in there. I like to layer some gaps with trees and just make nice little like tree lines sometimes to fill in the gaps. And then maybe put a building behind it. Maybe not that one. I'm just kind of pulling things out. And don't be afraid to like reuse buildings. So like I could just do a line of these just repeating. And I don't think that's necessarily too jarring. There is some times where it doesn't work. Like for example, I noticed this bugged me when I was doing one of my cities. I was using this big Maxis tower, and I had like 6 of them like all around the town. I'm like, that looks way too repetitive. So it just depends like also where you put them. But like you can make a big like singular building by pushing these two together, right? It doesn't need to be 2 towers. It could be just like one big rectangle building, depending how you line it up. So it's not 2 towers, it's just like one big thing, one big monolith. If I can get that to line up. That's the tricky part. You kind of have to have a steady mouse hand, which I don't at this time.
Why were you able to overlap those but not the smaller one? Because I saw that when you were trying to put the smaller ones together, they were red.
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, like this?
Yeah,
Oh, it's because I was moving it too far forward and it doesn't let me like
put in
place
the
with it
road. Yeah,
within
okay.
lots and on the road. So it's fine. It's like I can layer it into this fine like that. But when I get
Oh,
too
okay.
near the other lot, that's where it starts making a fuss. There is a mod, and I think it's in one of those resource lists. Like you can put put buildings on into lots, but I think it's for Maxis stuff only, not. Well, no, I lied. That because I'm putting it in there because I have the mod in for that. Otherwise, it wouldn't let you do this. Like if I wanted, it's great for like if you make like an airport for like your Sims to visit, and then you have like the airport deco you want to just put in like really near the lot, so they can like look out the window, and that's not the airport. They look out the window and like see the plane. I'm trying to think of another example I used to do that. Oh, like in Tweaky, um, like those what are they called? Goji fences, or it's like the big red like gate. I've put that like on the lot so it like looked like it was part of the lot and it enhanced the look of it just from lot view. So this is like a weird mix of a beach and industrial place. I don't know if my beach lots actually belong here. So this probably could be just turned around like that, but I liked it the other way because right now I could go in and like just add more elements. Like they could have like a courtyard. I think I have some courtyard deco that I downloaded. That's not it. Maybe like that. It's nice because it doesn't go into the road, so you can extend it. But there's like a bunch of little design elements. Cricket is really has a lot of really good like little design hood decos for this kind of stuff. That looks off kilter. Oh well. Make like some tree. But yeah, so what I could do, like if I was to take a picture right now, because I don't have anything on the other side of that block, it looks layered. We have the small stuff in the front, the medium stuff behind it, and the tall stuff way in the back. So that's like what I was talking about, like when you start a city, like picture where the front and the back is. Because like, yeah, from the back, it's just everything's blocked kind of thing. I mean, you could kind of be fair about it and like open up like a view for it if you really wanted to take a picture, like if you want to do like the ocean view, like do a, it cracks through and you can see the ocean. It isn't a mod. Oh, are you talking about the way to put deco on lots? It's the way that neighborhood XML resource. You might have to expound on that because that is out of my knowledge. Although I do know I downloaded something. Maybe I didn't need to download something for that. I'm just
She
gonna put.
says the XNGD, the
Yeah, I don't
neighborhood
know.
XML resource.
That must be a place in the SimPE for it that direct like allows things to be placed. They have like farm stuff too. So if you wanted to do like a rural thing, there's like farm and barn type stuff. If you want to like do like a major downtown area and then like off, if it's a bigger map, like off in the back, like a little farm. Because I've seen like I know Cricket and others have like some really good rural stuff, and Plum Bob Keep, they're like medieval, so of course they don't have roads and big buildings like this. Yeah, it doesn't let you put it on the road. That's when it gets redded out. And of course with the arrow keys or the caret keys, I don't know what you call them, the less than and the less than and more than, you can rotate items. So you can like even work diagonally. Like I think in one of my cities I have like a bunch of billboards just like diagonal like this. Oh, let me look at this. Jason was highlighting allowed in lot. Okay, a lot like so in the hood deco item, there's an allowed in lot DT UI integer set as 00 like 0 times 000 like with a 1 at the end. So that enables it, Jason.
These two values allow you to change the placement of neighborhood objects.
Oh, excellent. Very good. Okay, I must have removed the cement there because that's blank. It's not there anymore. Come back. And you can fill these in too. Like sometimes I don't fill them in and sometimes I do. It just depends what hood deco I have that I want added. So there, I'm gonna put that in the back and layer it up. See, that's a bigger one. I wouldn't put that there because it obscures the view of that. So I could put that, I could, put that in the back over there. Oh, you like the idea of layering? Yeah, no, it's just really good for, well, pictures. Like, as I said before, it's just building up those layers for those really good like neighborhood pictures. But if you're like not worried about pictures, it's not as big of a deal. Because like I guess, realistically when they plan to build cities, they probably aren't like, oh, this one's going to be this tall. I know like DC, like Washington DC has like a height limit, so everything has to be like it can't be over a certain height, so they're almost like all the same height. Like you're not going to get a taller thing besides like the Washington Monument, because I think that's what they base it off of. I don't think I want to use that one, but cause like I have like a whole train yard set. I haven't really explored that one, but I do have dock stuff. And only can be placed over water. Oh, so I can't put it on the shore. That's interesting. So it's like a pier. You'd have to extend it, otherwise it doesn't let you. This is another cricket type. So you could like build like a marina, and then maybe like put like a playable lot that looks like a marina office or something like right there. So then when your Sims are in it, like for a story or something, when they're in it, like you have like the boats and the pier in the background. So like that's like the use of hood deco to like kind of enhance those those like story sets too, if you're not just using them for play. Oh, that does not line up. I don't mess with this set that often. Oh, Guess it could have been longer. Yep. But yeah, I know like there's cruise ship ones too. So there's like a lot of hood deco options out there. Like I said, rural, urban, medieval. It just really depends what you want to do. Like this is an overlay. I think I need road overlays to actually use this one, but it's supposed to be a traffic circle, which would be really cool if I had whatever the overlays are supposed to be on that. Actually, I don't think I have any roads. I don't have any roads appropriate for this. I need like a four-way stop, which Tweaky just doesn't have. Oops. Sorry, I picked a very small lot to do this in.
Would you say it's easier with bigger lots to build more depth?
Yes, absolutely. But it is more like work, like to fill in the gaps. Yeah, it's more work to fill in the gaps in larger ones, but you have more opportunity to build it up and not be like I just showed you. I can't do this traffic circle because I don't have a road that does a four-way stop to overlay that on. So I would need a bigger map or at least one with a four-way stop.
Right.
Actually, I can put that over here. These embankment ones I really like, but they're really hard to do. I don't think I could do it on a beach. I managed to do it in one of my cities, but I think I just got really lucky. Like I could even like this is where I mean by like layering. I could layer these smokestacks into this building. So it looks like the building has the smokestacks.
Nika Sims says, I downloaded those and never quite figured out their placement. They look amazing if you can get it right, the embankment.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're really hard to get right. Like I was struggle busting when I tried to do it on a different place. Giant sports stadium in the middle of the city. No, we're not doing that. But like that's something you could do. I just don't think it looks right for that. And I don't want the clock tower. Here's some medium buildings. Like these are the ones you could kind of build up behind the shorter ones. But then it gets into that thing again like I have two of the same building. Like if I overuse it, is that personally gonna grate on my nerves if I see like six other ones off in the distance? So I
I
guess
think with just two, it looks fine. And they're far enough apart that you're gonna have a bunch of stuff in between them, won't it?
hmm yeah. But it's like it's jarring when you see like if it was like meh, all over the place.
Yeah, that's too much.
Personally for me, that annoys me as a like building a skyline. But like when it's done like this and they kind of look like they're on purpose, like some kind of like office building development, I'm not so bothered by it. But if I like did this here and then like I had some random ones elsewhere, I think I would just be bugged by it visually. I was gonna see if I can put more. Oh, and like when you're building this, like you can plan out your own districts. Like if you want like a suburban district or like a row of apartments, like for your Sims to live, versus a bunch of like a business community lots like district. So that's like something you can plan if you go the route of just planning playable lots and then building around it. And like none of this like and the thing about like just to remember about building your city is that it's like nothing's permanent. Like all the time in real life, buildings get torn down and rebuilt back up. So like once like you're happy with it, if you're not happy with it anymore, just like take it out and put something new in. It makes it like a sense of a progress of a city because like cityscapes change all the time. So you don't have to worry about getting it perfect the first time. And I like learned that a lot over like the last 15 years I've been playing this hood, and I've rearranged my downtowns countless times. So like maybe I don't want that billboard anymore. I could put this lab there. It would fit, I think. The one thing that's very annoying is like if you want to move that, you have to go back to that panel. And to move that, you have to go back to that panel. Oh, it doesn't fit. Maybe I wonder why it doesn't fit. Oh, one before I do anything else, one thing that is really handy, um, I'm just gonna delete this or get out of it, is there's a cheat. Um, there's a cheat that allows you to modify terrain. So, oh, what was it? I don't know if anybody knows off the top of my head. I don't use it that often, but it's like Sims 2.
Is it modify neighborhood terrain true? Hold
Yeah,
on, I can look it up.
it's modify neighborhood terrain true. And then what you can, yeah. So if you need to flatten stuff, because this always gets me. Um, if you get like a map that has like little bumps in it, it there's like little inconsistencies for elevation when you get into the lot and you like look across and you see like gaps. So you can do that mod, and I think it's slash. Oh no, so yeah, if you do the backslash, it raises from where like that spot's elevation. It like and it raised that. So now my road's kind of blah, uneven. So what I would do, I think, is take it from that was flat and then move it down. So now that's all the same elevation. It's all flat. So because if it's like on a hill, like I'll show you here. It looks kind of odd. Like it clips in and stuff. So like I should have done that first, but like if you want like a flat downtown city area, I would do that cheat, the modify neighborhood terrain space true. I'll type that in there.
Actually, it's modify neighborhood terrain on. I had to look in my user startup cheat because I
Oh,
have it on
weird.
three.
Well, I put true and I was just able to do it. So
Oh,
so true and on. It might be like there's a couple ways to do move objects on. It might be like that where you can like do a couple different variations of that cheat and it works. Because, yeah, I just Googled that and it let me do it. But yeah, so backslash evens it out. And I think right or like ending bracket moves it down. And opening bracket moves it up. So if you need to do that. But yeah, I can see like a little dent over here. So what I'm going to do, take that and I'm just going to backslash and make it even. But I'm going to turn that off so I don't accidentally redo it. So yeah, that's just a good thing to do before you start laying down deco. I didn't do it. Don't be like me. But I'm gonna put some shorter stuff over here just so nothing tall is obscuring that view, which I like. Does anybody have any other questions or issues that they would like me to speak to that they've had trouble with when doing this kind of city decorating? I don't know what this is. What is this? I downloaded a dirt road. I don't need a dirt road. This is not an urban place. But yeah, like you can even get down to the nitty gritty and like put in your own sidewalk, hood deco if you or
Nika says, not really a question or issue, but I lack ideas for desert terrain deco, but I'm not sure you can show that here since you've already got a hood set up.
well, we can go check out Pandora. Here, I'll go shit. I have a desert one. You can go look at that. You do. So there's a hood deco set. It's like canyon building, and it took a lot of effort, but it's kind of worth it.
Oh,
It's just
wow.
yeah. So
That one
it's
does.
what?
I've never seen that before.
Yeah. So it's hidden in a YouTube video. Like this download's hidden in a YouTube video. I was looking it up, and it's this who did it? I'll go
Didn't
find
we
it.
pin it somewhere?
Yeah. Here, rock. Here, let me go get it really quick. I remember YouTube Sims 2 Desert Build. I'll have to find it later. I'll have to find it later. But um yeah, so it was like just this canyon set, which was like just it's these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like a 15 rock set, and you just layer them and layer them and layer them up until you get this kind of canyon look. And then there's these, which kind of look a little off in comparison. Something I could probably retexture to make it look more. Of these were like
Yeah, the
TS.
texture isn't the same. So
Yeah, it's not the
it
same. It's like a TS4 to TS2 thing, like Monument
oh
Valley
yeah,
kind of stuff.
that's why the Sims 4 art style is not as detailed.
Yeah, that would be something I would probably go retexture at some point myself to match because I really like this a lot, and I would rather retexture those things than these. But yeah, so here's a example of a desert downtown. I put a train station like so. This is a playable lot by Zarathustra. If you haven't checked out their builds, they have like really big kind of community lot builds that are just like really cool. They did the warehouse that I have. I have a hospital in one of my downtowns. The Sims don't really visit them that often, but they're there like they make it look good, if you know what I mean. Oh, yes, you found it, Venom. That's what it is. It's the Canyon mod. You got it. Thank you for posting that. Yeah, we should put that in the resources, or I can put that in my workshop thing. But yeah, so like this is hood deco. These are like this was like a forestry hood deco thing, but as you see, we're not in a forest, and I think it looks fine being like in a rail yard. Um, so I have that, and then I have some of those just a little bit taller buildings, like not a lot, because this isn't like a big city. But yeah, so these like are all just playable lots. Those are hood deco. I'm trying to think, like some of the bus stop, that's hood deco. But yeah, just like layering, like you see how these are square. And like I someday I want to come back through here. I should have flattened this, but I didn't. So I have like little bumps, which I don't really like, but it doesn't bug me enough to like urgently change it because then I'll have to take off everything in like this area. I'll have to like go put it somewhere else and put it back, which is just I'm too lazy to do right now. But yeah, here's an example of the like tree like I didn't I just wanted to spice it up, so I put like lines of trees, even though they're kind of like lush for a desert, and the rest I just put around like randomly. And like so here's like the where people live. Like this is a trailer park, this is a trailer park. There's some like houses and apartments. Um but yeah, so Nika, if that's like what you're looking for desert, like I don't know. Like I would get a bigger map. If you haven't made it yet, I would get a bigger map and just kind of like make things spread out because I don't know. I think of the desert not as a small place. So as opposed to the desert, I do have a tropical, actual tropical looking place, and we can like look at examples here. So this is where my boardwalks were originally. But again, these aren't big cities. These are just like other places, miscellaneous places. So here was my boardwalks. This is like the downtown area with like restaurants. There's not a lot of hood deco here, except for like right here. Like it was just kind of empty, so I wanted to put like I think I have like these outdoor cafe type slots, or not that, but like that, yeah. Oh my gosh. That one cannot be placed within lots. That must be where Jason was saying that item needed those settings so it can be placed there. But like yeah, I had like this whole like area and I didn't have anything to fill it, so I just put a bunch of trees in it and like some billboards. So at least it like broke it up. It still kind of looks a little bit uniform, honestly, from I could probably mess it up a little bit like with clusters of trees. But yeah. So and then like right here I had a motel and I didn't I put these uh these buildings behind it. So like when you're in the motel, it looks I don't know, it looks kind of nice. On the other side I just have like this plaza Sims can visit and like busk for money. This I'm still trying to build up. It was like a there's like the park and like the community garden and like a little stand they can buy honey, but I'm struggling to figure out what to put here. And then like this is like all the residential beach houses.
Alex says you can press escape to undo for deco.
Oh, like oh, yeah. Ooh. Okay. I'm glad I didn't do that over everything because it doesn't let you redo it. So, yeah, if you want to like and I don't mind doing it here if I'm like boop 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 like if you have a bunch of trees. See, it won't let me get those trees back, but I can place those back later. So, be careful if you do the escape thing because if you've done a lot of work and you're kind of not steady with your mouse hand, you could undo a lot of work you can't redo. That's um a risk. We'll go to this one. So this one, my front, like my designated front, is a little bit obscured. It's like you kind of have to. There's some good overshots, and it looks fine on the front, but there's stuff that is obscured. You're not going to be able to see everything. Um, like this, I do have some like larger buildings, so anything behind that you can't see. You can kind of see down this thoroughfare and in the back, but when you get in it, and this might be a little bit more like the Max's downtown, I have lines of like playable places, like businesses. There's houses right here, but I've put like the medium apartment buildings behind that. I need to like do other things with the ground. It's not the cleanest. But yeah, I'll put some buildings behind these houses and kind of fill in with trees. Like same kind of trees. But
Venom
like
says, do you leave the content warning on purpose?
what?
The
Oh,
when it prompts you, it
um,
says
no,
it
I'm just
asks
too
you to
lazy to
mute.
turn it off. I know it's a click of a button, but I've just never bothered with it. I know I can turn that off. I probably just like, you know what? Like there. After 15 years I've done it. Um anyway, so for like this one I don't this is one where I put my lots in before I put the deco in and then put the deco around the lots. So it is messier that I think than like places where you start with deco first. But I just try to like do it like line them up like straight. Like it could be better. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm like there's so much I could do right now to make it more unified, uniform. Like over here, this is just all hood deco because I was experimenting with it, but I built it up and it looked good, so I kept it. But like there's the hospital, one of the like I mentioned before, hospital and some scrap yards. But I think
Is
this is
your game lagging
playable.
or
Huh?
is your game lagging or is it just or is it the stream?
My game is lagging. It's probably like, why are you trying to like show everything all at
Probably
once?
because it's such a big hood and you have a lot of deco in it, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. Um, but yeah, I like trying to put like trees, like a lot of trees to put in these gaps. A lot of those like, what are those like slabs? The open park kind of slabs. Put in like the bus, and this is where I'm like layering it because I'm using instead of like lower, shorter hood deco, I'm just using like shorter playable lots and then putting this taller stuff behind it, which isn't always like a lot of this isn't lined up. This is not my best work. This is like forever a work in progress, honestly. Could probably just duplicate that and put it there and make it one building. Like, I don't even know what this is. Like, what was I doing here? I was trying to fit this triangle thing in somehow behind these and didn't bother to move this and it's clipping into the so yeah. I do struggle the same as others with this. It's just a matter of just rearranging things until you like it. Like that's the warehouse and I put some other warehouse deco into it to like just make it look like a warehouse district, like that area. And I didn't have like, and right here, I don't have any places to put lots, so I just added a bunch of buildings. And you don't ever really see in between here, but I could, I could add some things here, but like ooh, I didn't add anything there because it's like once you get down in there, it doesn't like you don't even see it. This is where right here where I'm looking at on the screen. This is where I added a bunch of buildings and tried to like make my own building. I don't know how successful that was, but I'm okay with it right now. But I was like adding just a bunch of buildings and like making my own like weird deco hood building. But I guess I would like focus if you are building like a city from scratch, just like focus on like going around in like these squares and then build it back. Like, because there's nothing playable really over here except for a building right there is for the STIA. Because I wanted in my story for it to like have a skyline, like a really good skyline. I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure if it did about making things like look like if you take a look at Venon's comic, like I think page 1 of chapter 2, like we were talking about how she put in a house and like it matched perfectly with some hood deco and it looked like it flawlessly went in. I don't have anything like that. I'm not that refined for this city, or this city's not that refined with its decorating, so I don't have an example of that. But if you want to see example of that, it's in Venon's comic. And so like I could put something right here, but it's like an open lot. I guess I could cap it with something and then remember I have it later and then do an actual thing with it. But again, I don't want to like take out hood deco. I don't plan on using. That's a little too big. That's a little too big. So it's just like finding the right fit. Oh, that might fit. I don't know how that looks, but it fills in the gap. That might work for now. But yeah, hopefully my game doesn't crash. Like go back to. Oh wait, it's not in this hood. It's in this hood. Don't crash. This is only my second hood this load. But yeah, back to this. Like I could put a lot there if the lot fits. You can also, you don't even have to, if you download lots, if you build your own lots, you can just put like kind of placeholders there if they fit. Maybe not that. Oh, they're in my housing bin. So I have like custom residential lots. I've never used like lot adjusters, so that would be a cool workshop to like learn how to do this so I don't need these. I don't know why it's not. Oh, it's because the hood deco's there. A little bit of the hood deco's there. So that is a like a downfall if you do like the whole hood deco first and like don't plan for the lots. Is that you might have to move those later. And this one doesn't have that setting Jason mentioned, so I have to remove that completely if I want that lot there. So yeah, there's like some pitfalls. It just depends like what method you want to use to do it. But if nobody has any other questions, I'm not really sure what else I can tell you. Like I can just continue to build out this hood and I will never be satisfied with it because that's just how I roll with these things. So thanks for coming to my workshop about hood deco. I hope there was some hot tips you picked up or you have more ideas for how you want to build a city that your Sims might live in.
And if you give any of these tips a try, be sure to post pictures in our picture
Yeah,
forum. See what you've done with the tips you learned today.
definitely because yeah, I really like hood pictures. It's kind of the kick I've been on lately.
Maybe I'll take some before and after so you can see what my hoods
Ooh,
look like
yeah,
before.
do that. That would be great. So yeah, I have like this whole place. I'm like building like this is the lot. Actually, I probably can put a better lot in here now that I did this. Bulldoze by. Yeah, a little bit thicker. That's what I was looking for a word, thicker.
That empty space you have in the middle, are you going to fill that up with stuff or just
I
leave it like?
might like I'm starting to fill that up with stuff. Um doesn't like being that close. It's turning red and angry. I was looking for something like a little bit taller, maybe like this size. I could just start using in the middle here. Like the same, those are the same size. Those are the same size. And those are like storefront things, so I don't want to put those in the middle. I could do something like that. That looks, no, that's just barely taller. That's kind of a good one. I'm gonna stop recording because I'm just decorating right now.